I just want to share my heart today. The feelings that I had before, feeling of aloneness, feeling like I did not really matter in life, was the places where I felt alone. And when the place I felt alone is where I felt like I did not have life. And so I related with feeling alone as feeling not having life. And so I came to this point where I was meditating and keep on meditating for months. Begin to search for the truth and to see who I am and just what is everything about. Why are things that are happening that I don't know about? And when are things going to be happening? Waiting for a big events. And why things are not happening, the things that I want. And so I begin to meditate and search. Begin to have dreams. Things begin to be revealed to me, and I just understood to this point that I was never alone. That the reason that I'm alive is because the spirit of life that is living in me is sustaining me. And all the while long that I looked at the world, I thought that it was the world that was sustaining me. And because the world had life, I had life. And because the water gave me life, I could survive. But when I realized that it was the spirit of life in me that's sustaining me, I turned my eyes away from the world and I looked within myself, inside of me, and saw that it was the one that was living in me, was God that was living in me. It was the spirit of life. And I didn't feel alone anymore. I felt complete. I felt one. I felt like I was who I was supposed to be when I looked within myself. And when I turned away from my eyes from the world, I felt not alone anymore. Because when I looked at the world, I looked at the world as loneliness, like it was alone, like it was by itself. And it was like a reflection of the way I saw myself. That I thought that I was alone, that I was by myself. And that God was somewhere out there and that I had to do something outside to get more of God in me. And that was a misidentity, a misunderstanding of who I was really. I understood that the reason that I'm living is because He's living on the inside of me. And if I'm trying to get something outside to have more life in me, it's misunderstanding that I don't even have much life in me. It's trying to become by performing. And I finally realized that the one that was living in me was the eternal God, was eternal life. And I didn't see myself alone anymore. I saw myself as complete, as one, as whole. And when I looked in my past, memories of things that I felt, the places that I felt alone, the places where I felt like I was struggling or in trials or in hardships, those are the times that I felt alone. And that is what the world is trying to do. The world that we live in is trying to tell us that you must suffer and sacrifice in order for you to live. And that will bring a feeling of aloneness, a feeling of bad inside of you, feeling like you don't deserve much, that you must fight for freedom when freedom has already been given to us freely. I saw myself born into this world, and I did not fight, suffer, or sacrifice, or try to do any type of work or labor to be born or to have life. Life was given me freely because of the spirit of life in me gave life to who I was. And I didn't see myself as suffering in order to live. I saw me free in order to live. It was just the freedom that was in me that was giving me life to live. And so, everywhere I looked, in my present time, my current time, I saw God everywhere. Because I knew that I was a reflection, an image of God. And that the spirit of life in me was the one that was giving me life. Giving me life to my form, giving to me life to my characteristics, my personality. And everything that is good of me is what is coming from God, the spirit of life in me. But everything that was bad of, that I reflected, was just a reflection of the world, The world that feels alone. The world that feels like it's by itself. And so I stopped and realized that the bad that I reflected from my personality or characteristics was just a reflection of how the world feels alone. And I looked inside and began to see life in me, the spirit of life. And now when I saw that, I felt complete and whole. And that the spirit of life just began to shoot beams of lights of personalities of God. And it touched my soul, which is my mind, my emotion, and my will. I felt free in my mind. I felt free in my emotions and felt free in my will. I felt like I could do whatever I wanted to do. And I remember that when I used to feel alone and thinking that was who I was, it was just a reflection of what the world was. And I was just reflecting mentally, emotionally, and willingly the things that is of the world. And I realized that I was conformed to the world. That the things that I felt bad and the reasons why I felt alone is because I was feeling what the world was feeling. Because I was seeing the world being alone. I used to wait for miracles. I used to wait for signs. I used to wait for breakthroughs. And I realized that I am the sign. I am the miracle. I am the breakthrough. I used to wait for God for something. Used to pray to God for something. That I need to have this in order for me to feel like I have more life. To feel like I have more of you, God. And God told me, you are already complete. I'm already in you. You are in me. We are one together. I'm one with you and you are one with me. And that is why you exist. That's why you have image. That's why you have form. That's why you are breathing. And my eyes open. And the reflection I saw myself was a reflection now of God. I came to love myself in wholeness and in completeness, not lacking in anything. I didn't feel like I was trying to survive to live anymore. I felt like I didn't need to do particular routines in order for me to have more life, or, to suffer and sacrifice, to do the things that I don't want to do in order for me to get the things that I do want to get. And that is coming from a perspective of thinking that you got to survive and sacrifice to live. And I remember when Jesus came to be suffered and sacrificed on the cross so that can be removed from us. So we don't think that life is about suffering and sacrifice. And he removed that from us. He came. God came in the image of man. And the image of man was Jesus Christ. And he reflected the pure personality of who God was. And he came to remove suffering and sacrifice so that you can live the good life. So that you don't think life is about suffering or sacrificing in order for you to live. You are already living. And you are already living, so you live in freedom. Grace has been given to you freely. You have been living ever since you were born. But you thought that the things of the world was giving you life for you to survive. When in reality, it was you just living. The spirit of life in you gave you life. And all that you had, that you experienced good, was just giving you more life as an experience of life. You're just experiencing more life that's already in you. And so I stopped trying to chase things outside in order for me to have more inside. I realized that I was already one inside. So I can just do whatever I want outside. And wherever I felt good is where I felt like I was more alive, more experiencing more life. And I realized that what I wanted is what God wanted. Where I felt good was where I was feeling God, where I was feeling life. And the world was telling you that you can't do the things that you want to do. You must suffer, sacrifice, and do the things that you don't want to do in order for you to get what things that you want. And so that was a misidentity that I had. And I used to, come to a place of just feeling like something is missing in life. Something is missing in life. And I realized what it was. It was myself, who I was missing. And what I was searching was already in front of me. I'm searching for something that the world is telling me that I'm missing, but I was never missing until I realized that what was missing was me just looking on the inside of who I was really. So I just began to live in freedom from that day forward. I began to realize that the reason why I did the things that I did not want to do is because I thought that I'm living because the world was giving me life. I thought that because I'm drinking more water, it's sustaining me to have life. When all in actual reality, the water is a reflection of what's already in me. And now when I look at water, I see the beauty of life. And that beauty of life, I know it's coming from the inside. And now that I drink water, it's not for me to survive, but it's for me to experience life. Experiencing the freshness and the satisfaction of just drinking the water. That is already happening on the inside of me. And now I didn't eat the things that I didn't want to eat. I thought that I had to eat these things for me to feel healthy. When now I'm eating things that I want to eat. Because now I'm tasting the food. Now I'm experiencing the taste of life. And now I'm experiencing the true life. Because now I know who I truly am. And I understood this, that the knowledge of good and evil is to show you where life and where no life is at. To where you show where is good and no good at. And to show you where God is at and where God is not at. And the place where you think that there is no God, it's because you know there's no God. If I tell you, hey, do you see any white cars around? And you don't even know what the color white is. Guess what? You will not see any white cars anywhere. But if I tell you what is white, the description of what is white, that white is life. And I tell you, hey, do you see white anywhere? You will begin to see white cars everywhere. And you will see yourself as a white car. You will see that you have already been white. So that's why I'm telling you that you don't see it because you don't know it. And when you know it, then you will see it. And the reason why you have the knowledge of evil, or more like I would say this, the reason why you don't see God is because you don't know God. The God that is in you. So if you have the knowledge of evil or the knowledge of no God, guess what? You're going to see no God. Because you have the knowledge of no God. And until you know what is God, then you will see God. So when I begin to realize that the God that's in me is the God that I've been wanting to know all along, guess what? I begin to see God everywhere. I saw God everywhere. Everyone that I saw was an image of God or a reflection of God. Expressed in different personalities and characteristics in different forms and image. God is unlimited. God is eternal. There is no ending to God's personality. So everywhere I saw God. Every person I saw God in them. And that the image that I saw of them was just a reflection of who they are inside. And I saw life. I saw God everywhere. And I even looked out of the space. I looked out in the universe and stuff. Pictures of the universe. And I realized that vast of space, that vast of openness, how great is that openness, is how much life is in me. It's just a reflection of who I am, who God is. The God that is in you is the one that's giving you life. Everything you see outside is just a reflection of who you are inside. And the place that you might not think that God is at is because you don't think God is in there. But the more you know that you have God in you, the more you will see God out you. The more you have life in you, the more you will see life out you. The more you realize that you are already one, the more you'll see your life as one. We're trying to fix our life. We're trying to do certain things. We're trying to get some information outside for us to feel like we're complete inside. Guess what? Everything that is outside that is good is already a reflection of who you are inside. It's coming from the spirit of life that's in you. So when I read things, it's just a reminder of what's already in me. The life that's in me. So anything that's teaching good to me is a